All right, guys. So again, today we're going to cover designs. We're in Command. We're going to do one thing first, especially if you're newer to KW. You're going to want to make sure that the information that is pulling for these campaigns is coming from the correct place and that you're happy with what is being shared. So number one is if you click on this KW on the left-hand side, it's going to expand your menu and give you access to all of the applications. Even myself that I'm in here every day, I don't memorize these icons. So I need to see the specific name of the application that's on the left-hand side. So today we're going to be dealing with the designs and we're going to be in campaigns. The idea here is you have to create your design first, and then you can work with your campaign. So you can start your campaign and then create your designs. I have found, and Brooke can probably attest to this, it can be a little testy because you're doing too much. So you want to create your design and then just send it off, right? Because it's too much for it to handle it sometimes. And also depending on your computer, some of our computers are bogged down with so many other things that it just slows down in general. And having said that, I am in Chrome today, incognito. It tends to work the best for designs. Firefox works good as well. However, Safari, I'm a Safari person, I'm a Mac person, but it just doesn't. A lot of applications don't work well for Safari, unfortunately, when it comes to things like Command and other websites. So the first thing we're going to do before we even dive into designs and campaigns, we're going to go over to your marketing profile. Your marketing profile is where it's going to pull the information from that you're going to be sending out. So information such as your contact information, your email address, your website, all of that stuff's pulling from your marketing profile. So if I go here under Connect settings, you're going to see where your marketing profile is set. So again, the photo that it's going to pull for your ad or your email is going to be there. Even if you're not on a team, go ahead and pop in a generic KW logo here because it'll just fill in that spot. Because if you leave it blank, what it's going to do is it's going to act like it's missing a photo. So we have found that if you just put in your logo here, the regular KW one, it'll fill in that blank. Again, if you did your Scott Leroy, he'll do all this for you. So no stresses there. If something isn't correct here and you want to correct it, once you correct the information, you go all the way to the bottom and hit save. It could take 1 hour up to 24 hours for it to show up the update. So just make sure that you are making sure that information here is correct. But again, if this information is not correct or you need it done, reach out to me, mctt738@kw.com, or to Scott at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and they'll set it out for you. Okay. The idea here is for you not to stress about this stuff and let them do it. That's why we have them working on this kind of stuff. But again, everything from the marketing profile is going to feed from this specific section. The next thing we're going to cover here, we're going to go under command settings and we're going to go to applications. Today's we're going to cover emails that are going to be sent through campaigns. The reason we want to check out applications is because we want to scroll down to command. You want to go down to manage email. Command email is how the system is going to send out your marketing pieces with smart plans and or campaigns. The reason you want to come here is because you want to make sure that your return or reply email address is correct, because the system is going to create a generic email address for this to go out. But if they reply back to it, it'll come back to whatever email is in here. If you need to change it, you just click here and then you have options that you've either plugged in before, or you can go ahead and just hit edit pencil here and just type in an email address. The other thing here, you're going to see, as you see here at the bottom, I've used 1,200 emails out of my 5,000 that you have every month. So every month your account's going to reset and you're going to get 5,000 emails. I use my account for the office, which is why I've already sent 1,200 emails and we're only on the 7th of the month. I don't recommend you use anywhere near 5,000 emails with your database. Unless you have like 10,000 people in your database, you shouldn't be sending out 5,000 emails. However, if you wanted to upgrade, you would just simply click manage subscription. And it's inexpensive to upgrade, but you can, of course, get more emails from there. And then, of course, up to 10,000 emails is $9 and so on and so forth. So again, you can upgrade if you need to. I don't recommend you do unless you are, reaching out to the entire state. All right, so that's your marketing profile, and that's also your command email where things are going to come from. Now we're going to work our way over to the design center. So if I go over here on the application on designs, it's going to open up for me. And you have a couple of different options here. I'll show you guys the design that I worked on yesterday, and we're going to go through and kind of try to recreate it today. I did my email template here. So if I click here from it last night, it's going to show you what I worked on. I'm a Home Alone dork. I love this movie. It was one of my favorite holiday movies as a kid. So I think about 2020 or 2021, I think it was, they opened up an Airbnb for it. So if you were one of the lucky few to book one night in this place, you could stay here, and they had a whole like itinerary of things you can do. Anyways, not the point of the class, but I took a website and I basically made like a little newsletter to mimic the newsletter that I copied it from. So let me open up the letter that I got it from. So this is the article or the website that I found online with all the information and the picture. So I basically took all the information off of this here and created an email template, which in your case would be about an open house or your monthly newsletter, whatever it is you want to use it for. But I had a resource. I had something to kind of mimic. If you're creating a newsletter, yes, you can copy paste as long as you're not, but you're copy pasting certain things about events or community things that are going on. You're not just writing an article and saying you wrote it, right? That's copywriting. So that's not what I did here. I just kind of included even the links to the original thing here. So all of these individual pieces were created. Now that I've shown you this part, this is hard coded, which means I've selected these widgets here on the right-hand side to kind of accommodate my newsletter that I wanted to create. I inserted a video here. I also inserted information about that neighborhood where this house is, right? So the stats, active, pending, sold, average price per square footage, as well as the average day on market, right? All that information is pulling from KWLS, which is linked to MLS. You can do the same thing for any of the listings you want to call out, or even if you're doing an open house for another agent, you can do the same thing with your flyer or whatever it is you're doing. And again, I use every single one of these widgets. You don't have to do that. You can keep it simple and just do a quick one. It's just for the sake of today's class, I wanted to make sure to use everything. The other thing is you have the event. So if you had an open house, you can create it here. It comes with a little button, and you can put information about the house, the time of the open house, as well as they can click on view details and you can take them somewhere else, whether that's to fill out a form or whatever that may look like. And then you also have stats about the specific home, like how big it is, how many bedrooms, square footage, how much it's sold for last, and things like that. And then, of course, you have the hard-coded legal jargon at the bottom. So if I go here to options, I can, after I create my template, I can click on preview, and it'll show me what it'll actually look like. So this is what the email would actually look like. It fills in all this information from your marketing profile. And then, of course, you have your link here. So if they click there, it'll take them to the link of the website. And then it has all the information about the Airbnb, as well as all the activities that are included with your stay there. I think they have like the actual Lego set too, where you can put that together and things like that. So it just has a lot of cool information. I changed the fonts on this on purpose, right? You choose and mimic your font. So I'll show you how you can edit that and make it a little bit more friendly or customizable from that perspective. And then, of course, you have your YouTube link, the stats thing here, and then the book here. And then, of course, view details for the open house. So this is an idea of what this would look like. To be quite frank, if you've met me before, I've met most of you in a one-on-one or even with meetings. This isn't the sexiest thing ever, right? It's not Canva-like. It's not, right? It doesn't have a ton of icons. I am going to show you how we can take a Canva newsletter template and paste it in. It'll still fill in the same amount of surface area, right? So it's only going to be the center of the screen, which is fine. But if you are a Canva person and you can do that really quickly, I'll show you a Canva one that I have as an example, and then we can turn it into something that you can send out through command. The main reason you want to use command is you're already paying for it as a part of your monthly dues. And it also, you have 5,000 emails. Why go spend money somewhere else when you can just do it here, right? So that is what we're going to hopefully recreate today. So before I dive into that, does anyone have any questions online or in person? We're good. Pretty straightforward. Cool. All right. So I'm going to close this. And now we're back under the design section. So here you're going to have your create designs. So when I click on create designs, it's going to give me a couple of different options. Today, we're going to be dealing with the email templates. However, you can see that there's social posts on there, print, and video. The video is a cute little video that almost looks like, trying to think of, almost looks like 3D cartoon-ish. And it will take you through whatever zip code you plug in. It'll basically walk the person through like a quick 1.5 minute video of the active stats of that neighborhood, what's sold, pending, and things like that. And then it's just really cute for you to use it in a marketing piece. And then, of course, print marketing is where your just sold flyers are, open house flyers, as well as your listing presentation, buyer presentations. And then social is where you can create pieces for your social, like for your stories and things like that, that are custom, that are, what's the word I'm looking for? That are catered to KW. So they're branded to KW. You see here where it says import photos, text from listings. If you want to click this, if you're working with a specific listing. And the reason that is, if you're working with social or print, it will pull from the MLS. It'll pull photos from the MLS. It'll pull descriptions from the MLS. So that way you don't have to type up all that stuff again. It'll be there for you to just grab and play with it. Okay. So we're not doing that today. So I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to click on email. So email template, we're going to hit next. And there are a ton of templates here. There are like 70 something templates, if I'm not mistaken, 73. So you can go through here. There are newsletter templates. There are holiday templates. There are templates to invite people to certain events. Christmas, Hanukkah, all the holidays are in here as well. They also have a couple different articles that you can, couple different articles about getting your home ready for the winter or getting your home ready for summer. Some of that stuff doesn't translate to Florida because we live, I feel like, on the sun, right? So we're not going to be getting ready for winter, I don't think. Maybe we'll have 1 or 2 cold nights, but there are some articles that you can use about refinancing or how to get your home more efficient, or whatever the case is. So some of these you can literally just click on here and send them off. You don't have to do anything to it. It's like good information. However, today's class, I'm going to show you guys how to create a template from scratch. And at that point, like I did with the Airbnb article, you have to have some sort of context or some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Source, some information source, because if not, you're going to stare at this template and be like, I don't know what to put on here. And that's half the battle, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click create new template. And again, we're back to that section where we're going to use these widgets, right? But I'm going to show you guys one cool thing here. So when you first signed up with us through the office, you got an email from Scott Leroy. Scott Leroy gave you a setup questionnaire, and that had all your passwords on it. You guys can see this, but they can't, so it's okay. So I don't want to share her passwords with everyone, but I just need a link here real quick. It's called, the reason I brought you here is because I want you guys, and I'll show you guys online in 1 second. It's called Homekeeper. Homekeeper is a website that is an online blog along with a vendor website. I'm going to share with them online. So I want to share that along with share. So hopefully you guys can see this online now. Let's go here. There we go. So this is the Homekeeper website. If you don't have access to this, let me know because we can get you squared away with Scott Leroy. But basically, this is an online website that you can add your vendors, and your sellers and your buyers can go on here and look for plumbers, handymen, and things like that. They do have pre-loaded vendors that you can use here. However, you can feel free to add your local vendors on here as part of a resource for your clients. I bring you here because if you go here, you have what's called a blog link. So if I open up this link, there is a page here with a ton of blogs. This would be your resource. This would be the section where you can use this as a resource for you to create your newsletter. So yes, even whether you're using Designs or using Canva, I would say 9 out of 10 agents that I talk to don't have content that they want to send out. So Homekeeper is free. It's included in what you're paying us. So, it's not free, but it is. And it also, they update it periodically. So as you can see here, they've updated 2 in October. Actually, there was 4 in October, and they've already started for November. So these are pre-done articles that are real estate related, but are not super salesy. One thing that you have to work on that, like for instance, going back to, and I can't share double, but let me see if I can just click. I want to be able to share it all on one thing. So I'm going to go here. Bear with me. All right. Hopefully you guys can still see this online. There we go. So here are the blogs, right? And here are all the stories that you can use if they're relevant to what you're wanting to put out. But going back to this Airbnb article, when I showed you guys the template, at the very bottom is where it mentioned stats about the home, It also mentioned the activity of the neighborhood. So if you send that to someone, and it doesn't have to be as cheesy as the Home Alone house, but if you send content to people that they want to read, whether it's recipes or whether it's news about the city they live in this case, we're in Tampa, and at the very end, you include tidbits of real estate, that's how you're going to engage people and get their attention. If it's too salesy, most of the time, unfortunately, guys, are just going to unsubscribe, right? So that's what you want to try to do. So I would recommend using this website as the place where you can, again, take this picture and make it your own, right? And copy paste it over. And that's what I'm going to try to do today with creating our template. So going back to this template, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to add a header because I feel like I need a header and a footer. So there's my header, there's my footer. It's going to look weird on this end because it's hard coded. It's pulling information from your marketing profile. So you're not going to be able to edit anything here just yet, right? But I'm also going to add my, and I'm going to add an image, right? And before we do that, I'm going to right click on this image here, save as, and I'm going to save the image to my desktop. And then I'm going to go back here to the template and I'm going to upload the image. Hopefully it's not too large. And select my image. And now I'm kind of building out my template, right? So the one thing I will say is I wouldn't necessarily recommend, this is a shorter one, so this one isn't horrible. Some of the articles are longer. I wouldn't recommend just literally copy pasting the entire article. I would summarize it, guys. I would read through the article yourself to make sure, A, it's what you want to send out. Write a paragraph of what you read to entice the person to click on the link. And then at the bottom, include the link to this. But you know what else is here? Do you see my information? Even though they're going to another website, it's still branded to me. So it still has my contact information. So if you have access to logging into your account, you can add your social media links, you can add all of your contact information and kind of bring it over. But again, if you're using Canva, using Designs, using this information as a good place for content is perfect, right? So I'm going to keep copy pasting here. Go back to my template and I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add my text box at the top. So go here, hit the edit pencil. Right, I'm going to go here. I'm going to make this orange and I'm going to bold it. I'm going to change the font a little bit, maybe center it and make it larger. So it was at 32. So it was at the largest. So let's do 46, 44. There we go. So now once I hit done, you're going to see that it's going to start to come over on the other side. Okay. And work it out. So we've talked about image. We're going to add another text box here. Go here. Here's our text box. I'm going to go back to our article. But again, I'm not going to take the entire thing just to show you guys what I mean. I'm going to just take this part here. Copy that. Go back to my article. Click here. Click the pencil. And I'm going to add it here. I am going to change the font, but I'm not going to bold it. And I don't think I'm going to center it. I'm going to see how this looks. Actually, let's center it to see how it looks. Hit done. Now it's starting to build out pretty well. And as I'm working on this, I can click preview here and you'll see that it's kind of putting it together for me, right? So once you do that part there, you're going to go ahead and kind of work your way through it. What I would do is at this point, to not make it too long, I would add a button here. And you can customize this button, change the colors of it, right? We can make it orange, we can make it red, whatever the case is. And I would say, click here to read more, right? And again, this is an example. You can do whatever you like. And we got that. And then you can include your link to our article, copy the link, go here, and you can include a website. And this is where you would paste that link and hit done. So now there's your button. You can, of course, widen your button there a little bit. So now again, as we're working, we want to work our way through, hit preview, make sure we're happy with what we're seeing, right? And we're going to keep working our way through here. You can even send yourself a test email and work your, and so that way you look you'll see exactly what it looks like in your inbox. Okay. So one more thing that I like to show you guys is with the text boxes, when you're adding a text box, you can actually add your client's name to the top of it. So it looks a little bit more genuine or maybe unique. You can also say, like, when you add the text box here, I'm not going to keep this one, but if I add it here and I go to edit, you see these drop downs. This will pull from your database. It'll pull their first name. It'll pull their last name or whatever it is you want to pull from yourself, right? So agent information is here as well. But if I pull, let me see here. Should have your client's name in here somewhere. I may have to, it'll pull your information for sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw the client's stuff too. Hopefully it doesn't make a liar out of me. Agent last name, first name, your bio. Let me see. I thought they had where you can put your client's first name, but I'm not seeing it. So I'll have to look into that one. But anyways, this will pull your information from your marketing profile straight into whatever article you're doing or whatever text you're doing. Wonder if they changed that or why. All right.
Is it contact phone?
Is it there? I don't see
I
it.
see it on mine, but
I don't see it on mine. Oh, you know why mine doesn't do it? Because I'm under a team account.
that's it. I was thinking that definitely is an option.
So that's what it is, guys. I'm under my team account, so it's not going to give me necessarily my contacts because contacts are a little bit different under the team. However, in your personal account, it'll give you options for your contacts. If you wanted to say, hello, Steve, or hello, whatever, you know, you can customize it from that perspective. The cool thing is when you send out the newsletter, it'll customize it to your entire database. So it's a little bit more of a touch, right? So that's how that works. Thanks for figuring that out, guys. I felt like a liar. All right, so that's how the newsletter works. And then if I get here and hit preview, we can work our way down. And one thing is this newsletter does not look horrible. It's pretty basic, right? In the sense of it's got a little bit of orange on there, tweak it a little bit. Maybe we can make the font bigger down here so we can read it a little better. So if I click edit, go back in here, highlight everything. Maybe we go up to a 20, right? To make this a little bit of an easier font to read. There we go, right? I actually like it a little bit smaller. Let's see here. That's better. All right, so now we've done that. And again, once you're doing this, you just want to make sure to be consistent with the sizes and or the font and choose color sparingly. That way it's still pretty classic, I guess, from that perspective. But that's how you would customize a template. One thing is it's not going to be relevant to this specific one, but let's say that you wanted to call out one of your listings. So remember we talked about bringing the value and not being so salesy. Now is where I would add information about a listing or an open house that I'm having. I wouldn't do both. If you're doing an open house, focus it on the open house towards the bottom, but don't put information about the neighborhood and the open house. It may be too much information. It just depends on how you feel about it, but that's just my opinion. So in this case, I'm going to add information about a listing. So if I go here and I click on there, I'm going to then click the edit pencil here. I can then go in here under select listing. And again, this is where it's going to pull that information from the MLS, right? So I can select this listing as an example. Of course, you can choose your own. I had been searching up north because mentally that's where I want to be with a sweater on and a pumpkin. So this house is up north. However, you can choose any property you want, right? So I'm going to click this as my main picture, hit select, and it should fill in my stuff for me here. So it did fill it in here. You can link it someplace if you want to, link it to your website, right? So if I go here to website and I go find this property on my website, let's go see if I can find it. So I'm going to go to my command website, my customer facing website, and I'm going to try to find that property. Because again, the other mistake that I see agents do, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, you'll be on Facebook and you'll see someone say, hey, I'm having an open house. The Zillow link is what they're using. Like, don't give these people more power than they already have. They already have enough people going to their site. Your clients are going to send you their site anyways. So just use your own website when you're looking up properties, you know, because even if it's not your listing, it's going to come up with your information, right? What's our property? Was it that one? Let's see. See if it comes up. I'm freaking it out. Okay, here we go. Perfect. All right, so here's the website information. Again, it has your information here as the contact person. It will say who it's with. Even if it's not with Keller Williams, it'll say who the broker is, which is fine. But again, your contact information is what's up front, which is what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and click copy this link. Go back to our template, and I'm going to go in here and paste it under website link. Now I'm going to hit done, and it should fill everything in. So now when they click on this and or go down, it'll take them to your website for more information. So here's an example of how I would add a little bit of real estate to something that's not necessarily all about real estate, right? This is about Halloween and trick-or-treating, or making things a little spooky or whatever the case is, and just add a little bit of real estate in it. It doesn't matter what template you're using or what, whether it's Canva or whatever, try to come up with a template that'll give you a little bit of everything.
So even if it's not your listing, you could link your website and you'll find it on.
You
the
can,
web.
yes. So the one thing is, even if it's a fellow person in your office, they're gonna want you to promote their listing. I don't think I've met one agent that's like, hey, stop promoting my listing. If it's someone here and you're, especially if you're having an open house, you probably already had that conversation with them, right? That you're gonna be promoting things. So yeah, you can use, the thing is, the cool thing about this part is you can network with anyone. They don't even have to be with Keller Williams. You can network with anyone who has an active listing in the MLS. You'll be able to create, and send them to your website. Yep. So I'm actually going to delete this one. Actually, we'll leave it. Let's go ahead and add an open house one. So if we go here, and I'm saying open house because in my mind, it's the most relevant event. However, it can be a community event, it can be a church event, soccer game, whatever what have you. It could be an event, a customer appreciation, whatever it is. So I'm going to go ahead and add the event block down here, and then we're going to go ahead and fill in the details. So again, the same thing, you click on here and click on the pencil, and we're going to edit the picture. I don't know if I have any, I'm gonna just put the Home Alone house just because I don't have another picture. But again, it would probably be the picture of the house. You can tweak things around, you can center it, hit done, there's your picture. We'll put today's date for the event. What did I do? All right. We'll put today as the month, November 7th, 2020, guys. Let's not go back there ever again. All right, so today from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Right, so there's that. We're going to highlight this. We're going to center it. We're going to change the font to be consistent with the rest of the flyer. And we're going to make it there. And then we're going to hit done. And then there's your time. Again, edit. Open house. Whatever the event is, guys. Just want to get through it. Change the font. And I think that's good. I didn't center it. Click edit. Center. Done. All right, so you guys get the logistics, right? Then we click on view details and you can edit that button. So here is where you can add a link to where you want them to go. So again, in my opinion, I would send them to your website on Keller Williams. So let's say that I was hosting an open house at this location here. Have you guys seen the open house feature where you can create a sheet here that'll help you sign in when people come into open house? So if you have an iPad or even your computer and you want people to just sign in on your website, you just basically go up here and I think it's /open house. It'll turn this sheet into an open house sign-in sheet for you on your website. So if I go here and do that, it's thinking for me. There's my photos at the top. And now I have a sign-in sheet so people can start putting in their first name, last name, and email address and their phone number and submitting. The cool thing about using this is that it'll automatically be fed into your command database. So it'll be in your database automatically. So then you can go in there after the open house and follow up with them and categorize them, tag them, and then follow up with them, to make sure if you have a potential lead there, you can capture it. But this is what I would do. This link is what I would put here under links. I would put that. And then I would make that round. And then view details is fine. We'll click done. And then it'll take them to the sign up sheet on the flyer, right? So even if they don't go to your open house, they may sign up for more information. So that's that one. And then the other one here is the video one. So if I go here and I add the video, the only thing with this video link is it needs to be a public URL. So public URL being like a Google one, right? Where you've clicked on there to anyone who has the link, or a YouTube video, right? So if I just go to YouTube And using your KW email, you can upload to your own YouTube channel if you wanted to upload videos of homes or whatever the case is, and you can make that public, and then you'll be able to share it. So I'm just going to select a generic video here, nothing crazy. Let's do this one. So we'll pause that, share link, copy, and then we go back to our ad here and we add our video, and then you can add a thumbnail picture. So again, I'm just going to add this one because but you can add any picture you want. You could be the picture of the house or whatever, and then hit done. And then there's your video. All right. So that's how you use that one. And then last but not least, you have your market snap. So your market snap is, again, that snapshot of that area, specific area. It's done by zip code. So you can go in here, you can label it whatever you want, but let's use our zip code here at the office. And then we're going to say you have to pick an area. So let's pick the channel district. And then I'm going to hit done. And then there you go. It'll highlight the area and then give you the active statuses, the pending statuses, days on market, average price, and then what's sold, average sold price, and average price per square footage. So again, good information, but it's short and sweet. We're not overthinking it. We're just kind of putting the information there. If I do a newsletter, I would categorize my database by subdivision because I live in the suburbs, so it's easy for me to identify those areas. But if you live in Tampa, you would do like Carrollwood, Brandon, Riverview, and then you would cater this template to those specific areas, right? All right, so that's that. And then if I click preview, there's their template going down. So as you can tell, it only fits in the center of the screen, which some agents love it, some agents hate it. They're like, I want to do a little bit more. I was discussing with Brooke today that a lot of the templates that you're going to see, and I'll share this one with you guys over there too. A lot of the emails that are going to go out, and this is one of my favorite ones that our agents do here, only fill in the center of the screen, right? So don't get caught up in the details. Let me share. Where is that one? So here's the example that I like to use. So here's a newsletter that they put together. I was telling Brooke, I looked forward to their newsletter every month because it gave me a little bit about them and what they're up to, whether it's their hospitality jobs. It was themed. I'm a sucker for a theme, guys. For the month that it was being sent out in. And it also, I felt that I was getting to know them as they were growing in their real estate career, and they're really personable, right? So that's what you want to make yourself relatable when it comes to the content that you're sending out. And I'm not talking about like TikTok random videos, but like things that people can relate to, whether it's family or hobbies or whatever that looks like. Then it also would say what's happening in Tampa. So events in that specific month, right? And then weekly recurring events, and then featured listings. So again, you see how much information and how much value they gave you before they got to a listing, right? So it's at the bottom there, their featured listing. And then they gave market updates for a specific area of Tampa, right? So then you had your actives, your close, your months on inventory and things like that, and a little snippet about it. Then they also had like monthly maintenance and things like that on how to keep up on their house and stuff like that. And then my favorite part is the recipe at the bottom. So every month they would send out a recipe. Sometimes it was accompanied by a cocktail. Sometimes it was just a dessert. Sometimes it was an actual dinner dish. It's cheesy, yes, but I love it just because I look forward to it every month. So when they wouldn't send it out, I'd be like, guys, where's my newsletter? I need my recipe, right? So I can imagine that if they were engaging me and I'm looking at 1,000 emails a day, I can imagine that customers were really giving them great feedback. But the thing is though, with this template, what makes it a little different from the one that I just showed you guys is they can look at the weekdays. They were able to like do a specific font and color and really bring everything together. So what I would recommend doing if you are doing, if you're I don't even know how to use Canva to its full potential. I'll be honest, don't hate me. But if you're a Canva person and you know how to use it, create your letter, whatever it is you want to send out, and then take screenshots of it, right? So you can go in here, take a screenshot, right? There's my screenshot. Going back to command, I'll share my screen so you can see it, Candace. There you go, sharing that. So now go back here, we're gonna hit the X. And I'm gonna go down here and add my text box or my picture box, sorry, go here, upload the picture I just took. And start putting your letter together. right? You still get the fonts, you still get the color and stuff, but you just have to break it apart. So then each picture will put the whole thing together. So that's one way that you could do it quickly without having to download the whole template. You can download the template from Canva. Again, we just have to get with Scott on the logistics of it. Yep.
So there's no way to like make it fit the whole screen.
No. So that's why I brought up their original email here, right? It's not fitting the whole screen. That's what I got, right? So we get caught up, a lot of agents do get caught up on it not taking up the whole screen. But even when you're sending it from MailChimp, when you're sending it from Canva, all these other places, it only fills in the center of the screen, especially my computer screen is bigger. So it's only going to fill in, I actually have to zoom it in to like right now, even to show you guys, I zoomed it in like this to kind of get you guys to see it a little better. So a lot of I guess it's standard now for these companies that are doing emails to only fill in the center of the screens. Because remember, guys, they have to make these compatible with iPads, tablets, and phones. So I think that's part of the issue. Because if we go back to our, sorry, I keep going back and forth. If we go back to our Halloween posts, if I go back here and I click on preview, it'll give you computer, tablet, and phone, how it's going to look. So in my opinion, you see how I made that font really big? I would probably cater this to being read on a phone than the computer, because most likely they're going to get it on a computer, on a phone before the computer, right? So I would probably tweak my fonts a little bit so that things make a little bit more sense on here, right? Probably not center things because then everything will be correct. But there you go. There's that. We're going to save this. Give me 1 second here, guys. All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to close this out. It got warm in here. Take my sweatshirt off. All right, so last thing we're going to do is after you guys send these emails out, I guess remember that you can come under templates here and use a template already and tweak it yourself. So I'll show you what that looks like before we go look at reports. The reports are going to show you how many good emails you have, how many were not delivered, how many people unsubscribed, rude, and just in general, like all your reports, how many people opened it. So that way you can actually see the engagement of the people you're trying to reach out to. Okay.
And the subscribe button is already added.
Yeah, all the compliance stuff is added for you. So from that perspective, that's another thing. When you try to recreate the it's crazy. When you try to recreate the templates and you're going from one to another, use like MailChimp, use Canva, or use Command, because it should have the unsubscribe at the bottom. You legally have to have that. That says, you have to opt out. So let's get out of here. Let me just label this. All right, save. Yes. All right, so now we're going to go back into Create Designs. We're going to go to Email, and we're going to go to Next. Now I'm going to select a template from here. It doesn't matter which one. You can again do the just sold. A benefit to using a template is some of these have color on them, right? So you have a couple more options, but you can't edit it, right? You can edit the center of it, but the color part is pretty hard-coded in there. However, if you wanted to add to this, you could. But, then you have your preview of what that would look like. But you can take away and add a couple things, but this is pretty much the feel of the template itself. Again, I think personally, the best option is creating it in another resource, doing the screenshot thing and bringing it over, putting it together, calling it a day. The other thing is I'll look into getting with Scott. If you want to send me that one you did, we can get with them so they can help us understand that, because you can import designs from here. I have just not, you have to tweak it and the size has to be perfect. So we have to get with Scott on the sizing. I think that's what gets most people in trouble. Yep. So let's do that. And then last but not least, we're going to go to reports, guys. So under the reports section is where you can see your activity on your campaigns and or smart plans. We're going to go over to email. And you can go in here and you can select the app that you're using. We were using campaigns. So this will tell you how many campaigns you've sent out. It'll be listed here. I haven't sent any out under this account, which is why it's blank. For the actual single emails, I'll show you what it looks like for smart plans. But then you have categories here and you will be able to click on view details on how many were delivered, undelivered, open, clicked, replied, and unsubscribed. And then the thing is though, once the client unsubscribes, the system won't let you re-add them on there. You'll have to force add them. And at this point, you're acknowledging that you've either talked to them or that you've initiated conversations before you re-add them to any marketing, not just an email one, but even the smart plans, because they opt out of basically everything. Okay. So that's how you check your stuff. And then you click on view. Let me see if I can show you guys. If I go here under smart plans, you can see here that my numbers are starting to fill in, right? So I have delivered 1,200 emails, undelivered 3, so I can click view and see who they are. It looks like it's one person there. Their email may not be good. And then I can see how many people opened it. These are all the folks that have opened it, and it goes on and on. Tells me which email it was, how many people clicked on there, how many people replied. Look, 2 people. And then, but at least no one has unsubscribed. So that's that. And then also if I go back, I can go back to October. Maybe under October, I had 1 unsubscribe. Yeah, look, I kept a record. So these 2 people unsubscribed from my email. And they're actually agents in our office. So now I can go give them a hard time. So that's pretty much the campaign applet. That's how I would approach putting something together. Again, if I could give you guys to take one takeaway, it would be to have the content, right, and have the value and sprinkle in the real estate, because if it's real estate heavy, people most likely will just, if it's not relevant to them or the area they're interested in, they may just lose interest. So again, use that Homekeeper as a resource and sprinkle in the real estate, you know. All right, well, that's what we had to cover today. Let me stop recording here.